probably a good point than people are right now. I do know a lot of people in the state, a lot of coaches from South Carolina. I'm originally from North Carolina. Played at UNC Wilmington. Played a little bit in the Braves organization. And I chose to be a high school coach. That's what I wanted to do in my life when my playing career came to an end. I had a horrible high school experience. I was very fortunate to be able to somehow continue playing on in college. And because of that horrible experience in high school, that's why I committed to doing what I do. This is my 24th year now coaching high school baseball. I'm no different than any of you guys. No different. One thing I've learned over the years is attention to detail, trying to absorb as much information as I possibly can, using the logic filter, whether it comes to throwing, fielding, hitting, whatever. Okay, as I hear people speak, I basically ask myself, can that help me be more efficient, more consistent, okay, avoid injury? If you can, I'm probably going to implement it into my coaching philosophy. And if you can't, throw it out. So with that said, there might be some things here that I mentioned tonight that you might like. Maybe you can modify it. You don't have to implement it exactly the same. You might not like any of it. Or you might like it all. Basically, listening to that awesome presentation on throwing, I'm a serious candidate for injury. We started in Georgia. We've already started our high school baseball this past Monday down there. And on Monday alone, I threw over 700 pitches in one day. So it didn't feel real good the next day, obviously. And on a serious note, in college, my senior year, I had labrum surgery. And that was a very tough recovery for me. I had it December 18th. And we opened up against Munson on February 1st that year. So I know all about what he's talking about. The most important 20 minutes of practice, guys, okay? You know, I think we have a tendency to put so much emphasis on certain things and we don't tend to really kind of digest what is really important, okay? I mean, I have a responsibility as a coach to prepare my players for situations that they're going to encounter in the game. If something happens that they don't know how to respond to, that's my fault. I didn't prepare them. Okay? So I kind of assess on a priority chart, you know, over time, what are the things that the guys have to do most often and do well in a game? Well, obviously, from a defensive standpoint, we've got to be able to throw and catch consistently. Okay? We have to be extremely consistent doing that. And as I was starting to coach high school baseball, I started to be surprised at how many poor throwers were coming into my high school program. Guys that just could not repeat any kind of delivery, could not repeat any kind of throwing mechanics. Balls were all over the place. I mean, we were playing fetch instead of catch. Okay, I mean, balls and the chain link fence, can't stand that sound. Okay, it bothers me tremendously. So when we were in college, when I was in college at UNC Wilmington, we did a throwing program every day. And then what I basically did, due to having some friends of mine that are really high up in professional baseball, the pitching coordinator for the Oakland A's, and you know that they've had a ton of pitchers, introduced me to some pitching drills that I thought were appropriate for all players. Pitchers aren't the only ones that got to be able to repeat. Position players got to be able to repeat. So I started implementing a few of those drills into the sequence that I learned in college and a few things that we did in pro ball to come up with what I consider the most important 20 minutes of practice. Okay? Now here's how most people do it. Coaching 24 years, when I show up at a park to play an opponent, most everybody, even youth teams, do some sort of throwing drills. And I would argue that most of the throwing drills that these people are doing are not very good. The drills themselves might be fine, but they're not being executed properly. The kids are going through the motions. Okay? And what I typically see is the head coach and the assistant coach sitting in the dugout, doing whatever. And you guys go down long enough, you know that's a recipe for disaster if you're expecting them to be focused. Because they're not going to do it. Okay? They're going to go through the motions. They're going to throw with improper mechanics. They're not going to repeat it all. They're going to be lazy with their feet. And what do you get as a result? You get poor throwers. Okay? And that translates in the game. So what we have found is by implementing this throwing routine, starting with our 8th graders, because in Georgia, okay, we can have 8th graders in our program. I don't know about you guys. I think you can. We get the best 8th graders, and we teach them, and we do this routine religiously. Myself and the coaches are walking behind and through, okay, the varsity players, and we're very, very cautious walking behind and through the 8th, 9th, and 10th graders, but truthfully, they do a very good job. So I'm going to try to get to the nuts and bolts of what we do. Okay, go ahead and hit the slide for me. Obviously, in-season throwing program, dynamic stretching routine to raise body strength and increase flexibility. We thoroughly teach the routine. I teach them every single drill. It takes a long time at the start of the season, especially the young guys. Okay, we go through every drill. What is the purpose of the drill? What are you trying to accomplish? How is it executed? What are the key teaching points to that drill? Okay, this is what we're looking for. So we explain why it's important so they buy in. Okay, got to monitor the throwers. We talked about that. Then I have my pitchers alternate grips throughout our throwing drills. 4-seam, 2-seam changeup, 4-seam, 2-seam changeup. Every single drill, every single throw, they are constantly altering their grips to get a good feel for the ball coming out of their hand. I try to partner up my players with like positions. That's difficult at times because at a 3A high school, I was at the bigger high schools in North Carolina, the 3rd biggest school. Now I'm at a 4A high school in Georgia that goes up to 6A. We only have about 1,000 students. So our position players pitch and play numerous positions. But if you can partner them up, it's really good to do. Yes. Throwing is an athletic movement. Be an athlete. Okay. Throwing and catching is not a robotic movement. I'm not going to sit there and read these slides here in a minute. I'm just going to start talking to you. But I want to go through this because the tendency is when you start learning the drills is for them to be very robotic in how they're doing things. And I must say, be an athlete, 15 times a day when we're doing our throwing program. Okay? Be an athlete. Muscle memory is very powerful. And the older the player is, the harder it is to change. That's why we try to get them young and implement. Go ahead. Keys to fundamental throwing in baseball: creating momentum, alignment and direction, and having a good finish. Okay? I'm not going to go through the pure mechanics of throwing a ball because we got to get into the drill. Next slide. Keys to receiving a baseball. Okay? Not only do I teach my players how to throw, I teach them how to catch. Okay? I want them moving their feet, catching the ball inside their shoulders. I want them dominating the baseball. Basically what that means is I want them to beat the ball to the spot, catch the ball under control, okay? And that's where the dominate the baseball comes in. It's not a stab, okay? But we want to catch the ball in the pocket, and we want the ball popping, okay? If you go to play an opponent, and they're throwing and catching, and they're under control, and they're receiving the baseball, and those gloves are popping, as a coach, you know right now they have your attention. That you got a serious opponent on your hands. They can play the game. They can throw and catch, right? You guys look at that when you show up? Yes, heads or not. Okay? This is not rocket science. We can tell very quickly. But I want to teach them how to catch versus deflect, where basically they want to, anything outside their shoulders when they're moving, I allow them to squeeze the glove and actually catch the ball and make an exchange. Anything inside the shoulders, I want them deflecting. Basically just changing the energy of the baseball into the throwing hand without ever closing the glove. Okay? I talked to them about the different ways to hold their gloves. No one ever talks to these guys about this kind of stuff. Okay? Nobody. A lot of them have their hands shoved deep down in their glove. Creates hard hands. Okay? You're supposed to wear your glove very, very relaxed. Notice how much space I have and air behind my hand. Okay? I actually, as I got older, the pro ball started moving 2 fingers into the pinky hole. I was a shortstop, second baseman. And that basically left nothing behind the pocket for soft hands. If I wanted something behind the pocket, that's what this finger would slide over my pointer finger and push the glove. I can basically flatten my glove out by pushing on the back side when I'm going into a deflect mode. Okay, when I'm trying to catch, I'm in a pinch mode. And if I'm diving after a ball or jumping after a ball or shoulders to make the catch. That's when I want to pinch. I want to catch the ball deep in the pocket and secure. So they learn how to do that, and some of the drills that we do allow them to practice the deflect versus the catch. Here's basically our throwing routine. Guys, it literally takes 20 minutes, not even, to go through the routine. I told you we've already dynamics, stretch. Okay, we've already done our tubing routine. Okay, and now we're actually going into our throwing routine. And I'm going to go through each one of these. I've actually added in a couple. This is about 3 years old when I created this slideshow. And like I say, I've added a couple in. So let's go to the first one. It's going to be a kneeling figure eight. This is one that we did back in college at UNC Wilmington. Okay, the keys to the kneeling figure eight. My throwing partner is going to be that wall. I am always trying to create proper body positions as much as possible, creating good alignment, and efficiently transferring energy. Okay, sometimes I isolate certain parts of the body and take away the lower half. In other throwing drills, we're going to over-exaggerate our lower half. Okay, and then we tie them all together as we get further into the throwing drills. So for the kneeling figure eight, I'm right-handed, my right knee's on the ground. My front leg is going to be pointed right at my target. My front foot is just outside of my knee, and my front foot is not completely pointed straight at my target. It is ever so slightly closed. I don't want to be locked against my body doing this, and I don't want to be overly open, so I'm trying to create good alignment. I'm going to be inside my shoulders, just creating what we call a sideways eight. We don't want to get outside the box or get disconnected from our shoulders. We want to stay inside our shoulders. We're just creating a little momentum. On the second time we work down, that's when we separate at the belly, work back. I don't hesitate. We're going to have a good glove side action, get good extension, chin to the target, flat back, and finish right outside our knee. Okay? And everybody's doing the same. Of course, when I'm receiving the ball, I'm dominating the ball. I'm giving my partner a target. I talk to them specifically. Hit him in the chin. Hit him in the left shoulder. Hit him in the right shoulder. Hit him in the center of the chest. Hit him in his glove. Throw to a specific point every single time you throw. Just don't throw to a general area. Okay? And they get better at it. So it would look, and you'll see it in a second, right here, turn, throw, finish. Okay? Pitchers, 4-seam, 2-seam changer. If you go to the next slide, you'll see me. Hopefully it's going to play. Yep, there it is. This is Tim Heiners. He's the hitting coordinator for the Boston Red Sox right now, in charge of their entire minor league system. This was me and him about 8 years ago. Just over-exaggerating, probably being a little mechanical right now, but, you know, controlling the ball. It only shows it for like 10 seconds and it stops. Hitting each other in the chest. Next slide. That takes 30 seconds to practice. We're 30 seconds into our throwing routine. We get about 8 reps apiece with our partner in 30 seconds. Okay? Kneeling power. Now this one's a little different, and I'll show you what the key points are. I'm turning now sideways. Instead of being squared up to my partner, I'm going to turn sideways. I want that foot open again, almost at my target, outside the knee, foot flat. Okay, we start in the center of our body. We're going to split at the belly button, almost rubbing our thumbs against our thighs, down, back, and up. I want them relaxed, and I want them to actually freeze. Obviously, we don't freeze, okay, when we throw. But young players need to get a feel for what it feels like, okay? I don't let them get in this position ever. I want the elbow and the ball above the elbow slightly. I don't force them back into this position, which I was taught in college, you know, to be able to tap on a wall. I think realistically as throwers, if I was on a clock and this was 12, you know, we're going to be somewhere in that 10-9 range realistically, and that's where I want them. Front elbow pointed at their target. I don't care where the glove is, as long as the front elbow is there. So it would be down, back, and up. Throw, extension, good glove side. When I say good glove side, I don't want the elbow getting away from the body. I want to work it in beside the hip, and then transfer to the back side, chin to our target, flat back. So athletically, it would just be right here, boom, okay, popping on the front. Okay? Kneeling power position. I'm backing up, check myself, good glove side, finish outside the knee. Controlling the baseball. Okay, I'm walking up and down the line right now. Pitchers, 4-seam, 2-seam changeup. If you don't remind, they won't do it. Next drill. We're 1 minute into practice right now. We stand up. Okay, here I'm going to, as when I was on my knee, I'm squaring up to my partner, straight ahead. Well, good athletic stance. Should be very similar to my posture as if I was hitting. So we're going to have flexion in the hips. We're inside the shoulders. Rotate. Upper body's going to turn. So if you sliced me right here and couldn't see my lower half, you would think I was in a position similar to this. Okay? So as I come down, we turn. There's no hesitation here. I want them getting good extension out front. Okay? Finish outside the knee, and I let that backside heel come through. Now, one thing we know about baseball, people say, well, that's not how you throw. Okay? We make throws as position players in all different types of action. So if I come in and field a ground ball as a shortstop, and I drop my foot here and I throw to make a double play feed, okay, this is a very similar position that I'm making this throw as when I'm squared up and making this throw right here. Okay, ball above elbow, extension out front, hit him in the chest. Partner receives the ball out front. Little rhythm, little tempo. Downside turn, extension. Backside through. Again, when we were teaching this, we were doing it for video, we were being very mechanical, but if you can hear me speaking, I tell them once they learn how to do it, get rid of the mechanics, be an athlete, okay? But they have to somewhat learn the mechanics. All right, next, we're 1.5 minutes into our throwing routine. Standing power is a post-stride position. It's after stride. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and get out there, open up that front foot, because that's how they would land. Okay, they're going to be in a position where the foot is not here, and certainly not there, just slightly closed. Okay, we start in the center of our body, down, back, and up. Check ourselves, get good extension, chin to the mitt, flat back, finish, throw, and the backside just stays down. Okay, so very simple. Okay, what you're going to find, and I take a lot of pride in this, we've done these every day this week. Today was the first day I gave them off. Okay, I felt like the guys through tryouts stretched their arms, they were trying to show, they belong on the team. Some guys, they weren't, I know what's going on. My son's in the program. Okay, he said, Dad, some of the guys, they're not telling you, but they're hurt a little bit. So I said, we're going to take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Okay, I'm going to give them off, let them rest their arms. We talked about nutrition. But our guys can throw. Knock on wood. We can throw this thing in baseball. Okay, we have very few throwing errors. We can throw and catch. We can play. And that's not, whoa, look at Coach Mongero. That's attention to detail. That's an expectation that I have. We work on it. I know a lot of coaches in this room, and you guys do the same thing. Okay? I would encourage your younger coaches, I would have loved to have seen something like this, not because it's so great, but when I first started coaching 24 years ago, I knew a few of these things. I would have implemented the whole thing, maybe modified it slightly. Okay? But I would love to have it. So go ahead and hit the standing power position. Tim played in the big leagues as a first baseman. When we finish this drill, we're 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes into our throwing routine. We've done 4 drills. We're 2 minutes. I'm in charge. I tell them when to go and when to switch it up. Okay? All right, next. All right, this is where we've added in a new one. Okay? Scott Emerson, who is the pitching coordinator for the Oakland A's, one of my dear friends, one of my very best friends. He's from Richmond County, North Carolina. We basically go into the same footwork we had for our standing power when we're slightly open. We're basically just working on letting our arms work as we go back to the front. As we get against the back side, we transfer energy out over the front side with good extension, and they can follow if they want, okay, but we're here, here. You notice I'm loading against the backside, and then I'm throwing, okay? And they can step through. There's no video on that. That's a big league pitching drill that they use, tempo arm swings, okay, when they're working pens in spring training. Okay, so I implemented it to our guys. We started it this year with our guys. They did it 4 times this week. Very easy for them to get a feel for that. Okay? So, the normal routine before I added that, we could go to boxers. Now this is one that gives new players that do it a little bit of difficulty. It takes a little athleticism. Okay? Basically what you're going to do is you're going to turn sideways to your partner, be in a good athletic position, and I tell them it's if you're floating along the earth, front to back. It's not up and down. When you first teach it, they're going to want to go up and down with their feet. Okay? So basically, the gloves in front, we're going front to back like a boxer. You got to be able to relax your heels, front to back, back, out, throw. And continue down the hallway. Okay? I constantly talk to them about this hallway, 3 foot wide to the sky. Okay, when they're throwing a baseball, nothing should be running into the wall. Okay, gloves shouldn't be running to the wall, arms shouldn't be running to the wall. We're working back to front and momentum and everything right inside that hallway. Okay, trying to create good direction. Okay, so we're front to back. I'll show it front to back, twice, outside over the front, and throw. Boxers. Now, if you watch me, I'll be going more up and down. I was showing how most people will do it. Kim is showing how you should do it. When there's actual audio on the teaching. Okay? That's how they're going to, when they first learn, they're going to want to go up and down like that. It's a front to back. Front to back, load against the back side, out over the front side, and throw. Okay? We're 2.5 minutes into our throwing routine. With the drills, next slide. Jump backs is an exaggeration of boxers. Basically, we create a good athletic position. Ball in the glove, ball in the hand. We're going to load to the front side. I'm throwing that way. So we're going to load against our backside, not over our backside. Okay? We're going to load against our backside, out over our front side, and let momentum continue a step or 2 towards our target. It's an over-exaggeration of a load. Loading your body to throw. A lot of them don't use their lower half. They don't engage their feet and their energy from the ground up. They're all arm throwers. Okay? Not all of them, but a lot of the young ones are. So they just learn to tie in their lower half. Okay? This stuff translates. It translates into success.
When you start this, maybe the first week, are they closer, and then each day they move a little further apart with their partners, or what's the distance you have?
We typically, yeah. Well, the kneeling stuff is done at the most 5 yards. Right in there where they don't feel tied up and restricted, where they can actually do the drill. Because we're getting loose through the process. It's kind of like how we started doing dynamic flex from the stack. Okay, they are getting loose. They're not coming out burning and stuff. Okay? But yeah, when we stand up, we're probably 10 to 15 yards away. Okay, a good comfortable, distance where they can, let the ball go, they can follow, and they don't feel like they're on top of each other, being tied up. Okay, but jump backs, loading against the backside. Go ahead, you can watch jump backs. So you start against the front side, against the back side, out over the front side. Load to the front side, against the back side, out over the front side. Engage the lower half. Typically at clinics, I actually demonstrate. I'll have a throwing partner even in a scenario like this, in a room, okay, that I'm throwing to. And, most young coaches and young players, when they're watching me, they say, why are you throwing the ball so hard? I said, I'm not throwing the ball hard. Okay, I'm not throwing the ball hard. I efficiently transfer energy through my body, and when that ball comes out of my hand, it just jumps a little bit. Okay, it just does when you do things properly and learn to transfer that energy starts to jump. Okay, and that's what we're trying to work on by engaging in these drills. Next one. Okay. All right, basically 180. Here we're gonna, if you got young players, we need to move them apart. Okay, they're gonna be blind throwing basically right here. So I'm going to either start here and on my whistle, like everybody in this line will have the ball, or on my command, I don't have the whistle. Okay, I would say go, they turn and throw to their partner, and then follow down the hallway. Sometimes I'll do as if they're doing a spin move. Okay, blind to their partner, turn, throw right down the line, and hit them in the chest. Okay, just trying to make them uncomfortable, and they learn to become comfortable in these little uncomfortable situations that I put them in, and that transfers into game because we are in uncomfortable situations quite often. So 180s or more, okay, you'll see here. Quick feet. That's all there is to it, okay? So they're blind and they're throwing, spread them out. They need to be on a command where that line's not throwing to this line's throwing to that, and balls are going all over the place, okay? They need to be on command. All right? This is a big one right here. At this point, okay, we're 3 minutes done, and I tell them specialty throwing by position. Okay, let's understand the concept here, okay? No way in practice every day can you cover every scenario that guys have to make throws in games. It's just not going to happen. Okay? So what I tell the guys is, I want you to work on the types of throws that you have to make in the positions that you play. Okay? Everything is an over-exaggeration on the fielding positions. Balls always start in the glove, so they have to make a transition to a four-seam grip. Okay? And that's another thing that I emphasize to my players as much as possible. And I'm just going to spend a minute just talking about this four-seam grip stuff. Because when I was a young player, I didn't buy in on that. I didn't buy in. I didn't really think it was possible, to be honest with you, to make a quick transition and find a four-seam grip to make a throw. You know, and I ran into somebody along the line that told me about the human body and how our mind is so powerful. And he gave me a scenario. He said, there's people on this earth that if you put a deck of cards and you say, I want 25 cards, they can close their eyes, set their hands over the course of it, and pull out 25 cards. Okay? The feel and the mind are powerful things. And he said, if you just rotate that ball up and to the right in your hand, you'll immediately start to feel that four-seam grip. This is when I was a kid. I was like 13 years old. I'm 48. Okay? We didn't have a lot of camps when I was growing up. But he said, when you're watching TV, just flip the ball into your glove and see if you can't come out with a four-seam grip every time. Okay? By the time you get into a throwing position. Okay? So I started practicing it. And if I rotated the ball up and to the right in my hand, within my hand, you find a four-seam grip very quickly, no matter how the ball goes into your hand. Okay? So when my guys are throwing, I am telling them, find that four-seam grip. Find it. I teach them how to do it, and then they find it. Because when you're a shortstop, and you go in the 5-hole, and you throw the ball across the infield, okay, that's a long throw. Base to base is how many yards? 30 yards. Okay? Base to base is a 30-yard throw. A 30-yard completion in football is a big completion. Okay? We make 30-plus yard throws all over the infield all the time to a specific target. This is why it's so important that they're on the money. So specialty throwing by position with the infielders. The first thing that they're going to do, go ahead and click. I think I can. Nice. Will it pause? All right, I'll show it, then I'll talk about it. We're going ground balls to a relay position. Okay, so Tim shows mechanics through. He's a first baseman. Okay, let's hold it there. So our infielders are going to get into as much of an exaggerated perfect field position as they can beginning, we're talking about game speed. I say, guys, quick feet, create good alignment, good direction, throw and follow. So they're coming up, get their feet underneath them, throw and follow. The person that they're partnered with has their hands up, okay, has their hands up. They're going to read the ball to the glove side. They're going to catch the ball, deflect into a throwing hand, and they just freeze in a pout. And then they turn around, ball in the glove, and we're just going back and forth, okay, doing that. They might do that 2 or 3 times. Then they go to the backhand, okay, which I don't have on video here. They set the ball in the glove, get their feet underneath them, throw, and try to create a little momentum, just a little bit. Big thing is getting their feet up and making an accurate throw. The receivers, infielders, have an unlimited variety of things that they can do. Okay? They can catch and tag and show the umpire. They can use every footwork that they have for double play feeds and pivots. We have throwdown bases. I just saw off the stems of our bases. We get a new set every year. We have them to throw down. So, you know, if I had a second baseman and he's working with that guy in his fielding position who's coming up throwing, they might go left foot on, left foot off, left foot on, right foot across. Okay? Whatever they feel like they need to work on. Shortstops might drag across, boom. Or they might simulate, even though that guy's in a fielding position, they simulate like he's a first baseman throwing. So they might go left foot on, left foot off to power. They're going to turn that double play feed 3, 6, 3. Okay? So the receiving option on special control by position, it's as creative as you want to get. I would keep it simple to start with, so they get comfortable with this stuff. That's what my infielders are doing. Okay? My outfielders go right foot back if they're right-handed, ball just left of their nose, throwing hand nearby. Okay? They're going to crow hop, throw, and follow. Okay? If they're throwing to someone who's an infielder, they're going to be doing all those variations that we just talked about. If they're an outfielder and that's all they do, I just want them to catch the ball inside their shoulders and catch it. Okay? They do the ground ball, just left of their foot, fingertips down, drive the right foot through and throw. Okay? Game speed, full throws, we're totally loose by this point. This is what they're doing. Okay? Catchers, secondary receiving position, ball on the glove, footwork transition throw, stay in love. Okay? We have 2 catchers, the other catcher would catch the ball, switch that up into a power position. I mean, all we're trying to do is create as much game-like activity into 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So, the older they get, the more creative they get. Catchers, instead of squaring up to your partner going like this and throwing to second, now they can go this way with their partner down there, okay, and they can work on step behind, clear, throw to third. Okay? So there's numerous things that they can do in 2 minutes. Pitcher, spin moves, inside moves. Coming up, just working a dynamic balance, getting their hip. I know that we don't stop at the top, but just showing body control. That they can control their head and control their body. Because if they can't control their head and their body, and they're all over the place, there's no way they can repeat. Okay? So we let them get up, control their body, then work down to a partner underneath. So you'll see some of these variations now. Good. I just gave those. Next. Okay, that's the most basic pivot. Left foot on, left foot off. Okay, right there. No extra steps. Now, I'll let this stop and then I'll explain something here because I know some of you are going to ask some questions. High school. They got to slide straight in. Big leagues, when I play pro ball, okay, obviously they can come at you. So we clear a lot more with that left foot, okay? But if you go watch most big league second basemen turn double plays in batting practice, they're going to be they're just trying to be as efficient they can. Left foot on, left foot off. Okay, and that ball's gone. Boom. Okay, in the game, they over-exaggerate clearing. But we're just trying to work the footwork. Because most guys, most second basemen, even on good throws in high school, are going to go left foot, and they're going to take a shuffle. So they're going to go like this, and they're going to shuffle right, left, throw. Okay? Instead of left foot on, left foot off throw, they're going to go left foot, right foot behind, left foot throw. Which one's longer? Okay? The second one. To get momentum, because they don't feel like they have the arm strength, they try to get the feet moving to throw. Now, obviously, if the throw pulls me off over here, I got to go get it. Okay? Whether I'm going across or whatever. Even throws are on the money. Your second basemen that don't know any different or aren't taught, they're going to go left foot on. Okay? Most of them are going to come left foot off, step behind, or they'll go left foot on, step behind with the right, and then go to the left. It's still extra steps. Everything that we do in practice is on 4 seconds or less. Everything in the infield. Okay? So obviously we're doing specialty throwing by position now. I want game, speed, feet. If they're using bad footwork here, it's hurting them, not helping them. Your second baseman need to know proper footwork. Okay? They need to know that. If you haven't taught it to them, they're just going to try to figure it out. That was me in high school and in college. The first school I went to. Just trying to figure it out. All right, go to the next one. All right, keep going again. Okay, there's the first baseman feeding, left foot on, left foot off. This is like a 6-3 type deal. I come to the inside of the bag, he's starting a double play, left foot on to the inside. Home plate's that way, squaring up to throw. Okay, just get it back to 10. So as soon as this is done playing right here, move on to the next. All right, outfielders. I told you over there, ground balls and fly balls. You can go. Everybody's doing this at the same time. Okay? They know what they have to do. The outfielders are doing their gig, the infielders are doing their gig. Okay? Catchers are doing their gig, and pitchers are doing their gig. And if they play multiple positions, they spend about a minute on each. And then maybe the next day they just change it up a little bit. They play 3 positions. Okay, this should be the last one here. And then it goes on to the next one. Next slide. Next position. Pitchers. Step throw into a power position, into a balanced position, you can play. Okay? Control the body, control the head. Okay? Control the body, control the head. Create good direction to your target. Now I am not you might think that I'm a cookie cutter guy. Okay? I am not a cookie cutter guy. I just want them to use their body efficiently. We got guys with all different throwing releases and so forth, but they do most things really well with their body. Next. Keep going. Spin move. Okay. You might say, well, didn't you do this on your 180s? Yeah. Okay. What I'm doing now, when we come back in, I even think I put it on your handout, is I'm making everybody on our team execute spin moves and inside moves right before we do our quick feet, quick release, which ends our throwing. So this is 2 minutes. It's taking me a long time to explain, just like it would if you were teaching your guys that first day. You might be like, holy mackerel. Okay? Or you might teach, a couple, and then each day add one. You don't want to spend a whole bunch of time. Next. Catchers, go ahead. We talked about them. Secondary receiving, throwing. Okay? I never caught. Okay, next. All right, distance progression. Okay? There's all sorts of discussion, you guys know, as to long toss as far as how far you should go. There's all sorts of people trying to throw programs out there. My good buddy Scott Emerson with the Oakland A's, he said they try to get their guys to go to at least 180, which is double the base pass, 90 feet times 2. He said some of the guys like to go much further. Some don't even want to go that far. He said it's all very, very individualized at the professional level. He said, but they try to work themselves up to at least 180 and then reduce back to 30 feet. Okay? So we're doing like this week, I didn't let my guys, we were throwing on the right field line. This is the first week. We're 2 weeks ahead. Georgia gave us 2 extra weeks this year. 2 extra weeks. So we wouldn't even be in baseball season until after next week, last year. We're already in. So my guys have less time to get their arms in shape. They're all not doing what they're supposed to be doing over Christmas, I think. Okay? So I didn't let my guys back it up like they normally would. They went from the right field line to shortstop extended. So the shortstop where the clay meets the grass, that's as far as they went. So they went about 110 feet, maybe max. They made a handful of throws if they felt good, and then we started to work ourselves back in, okay, as a group. I'm trying to be smarter than they are because I know they're going to overdo it because their arms feel pretty good right now. Okay, they're very well rested, and they've been throwing a little bit. When we get back in, okay, when we get back in tight, this is key. We spend about 60 feet, 2/3 of the way, from second base to the right field line or the left field line, and I want them to get on top of about 5 throws. I mean, go ahead and let that thing ride if you feel good, okay? And one thing that I noticed when they're throwing long, you guys probably see this. I saw it this week. Throwing drills look awesome. I mean, I don't think we threw one ball away through our whole progression, the whole team. Clean, balls are going nice. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, go ahead and start backing it up. Whoosh, whoosh, balls start flying all over the place. I said, why? I stopped. I'm like, what's going on? Obviously, you're not focused right now. I mean, you were back 90 feet by the time we finished our throwing stuff. You're about 90 feet away. Everybody's cleaning on the money. And I say, go ahead and let it go. Start backing it up. And balls start flying all over the place. So I said, if you continue with your good mechanics and focus, I said, pay attention to the baseball. How is it going out of your hands? Is it cutting? Can you get no carry? I mean, what's happening here? Are you getting lazy with your glove side? Are you dropping your elbow and just slinging the ball? Or are you going to stay true and use your legs? Create a little crow hop. Get a little follow on your throw once the ball is gone. Create that momentum. Okay? But as we back up, we come back in and we get to where now we're doing quick feet, quick release. This is what I think is one of the most important parts of your throwing routine. This is how we finish. We compete. 20 seconds. 3 games. Most transitions that you can make, we are approximately 15 yards apart, and I'm on the clock for 20 seconds. Balls all start on the line. They have their partners. Ready, go. And oh my Lord, when you first try to get them to do this, they're going to get in a hurry. And when you get in a hurry, you make mistakes. I tell them, be quick, but don't get in a hurry. And I teach them, they need to be taught. Don't ever assume they know. Okay? Teach them how to get rid of the ball quickly. Well, if me and you are trying to beat everybody else in quick feet, quick release, the ball's coming back and forth between us, where do you want to throw the ball? Ask them. Some of them will say glove side. No, I'm not throwing the ball on a relay. On a relay, yes, you would throw glove side because I'm going that way. I'm coming back to you. So you want to be slightly to my throwing side. If I have to go over here to catch a ball and come all the way back over here to throw, that's eating up a fraction of my time. Okay? We also got to learn to get the feet moving before we make the catch. When they first learn, the guys who don't know, they'll actually catch and then turn their feet and throw. Most of you guys know that that's not how it's done, but if you don't tell them, some of them ain't going to figure it out on their own. Okay? I don't know about you, but I don't have the most superior athletes in the world. Okay? They have to be coached up. And then I've talked to them about deflection on a good throw, deflect. Okay? Throwing hand needs to be nearby. Catch the ball inside the shoulders. Okay? And when you do all those things, I think we had 22 is the record we got this fall in our fall workouts. 22 transitions in 20 seconds. That's pretty good. You watch that happen. I mean, that ball is flying back and forth. And it's not being thrown away, and they're hitting each other in the chest. Well, they catch the ball down low. Where do they got to throw? Down low. Okay? When do we ever work on that? Except that they're doing slow rollers in the game. So they learn to throw from all different angles. So in summary, and this routine literally takes 20 minutes or less. Okay? They have made throws in all different capacities. Okay? They are loose. They're ready to go into practice now, whatever we're doing. Okay? And I've created a competition. The losers have punishment. they got punishment. It could be something as simple as crunches or push-ups. But the very last one, the third game, is the big one. Okay? And whoever wins, if we have a tie, sometimes we have a tie. You got watching that, they'll cheat. Okay? So you got to have your coaches watching. I said, look, we got our eyes on 3 different groups every single time. Because they don't want to punish them. Okay? But the last one, they come in, and somewhere on the field they're going to run to. And the last guy back to me does another one. Okay? Because that keeps them from dogging. The last guy's got to do it again. Got to go run. So I bring them into me so they all start from the same point. Otherwise, it's not fair if they're all spread out and say go that way. Well, these guys do. So come on, everybody in here. All right, go. Boom. You know, center field fence and back, home plate and back, wherever. Okay. But they love that quick feet, quick release competition. And I've added in. I just told you earlier. Okay, right before quick feet, quick release. Everybody on my team, we have a lot of pitchers. Okay. Most of our position players pitch, 90% of them. So we're doing inside moves, and we are selling our delivery to the plate. You know, it's not just this crazy little stuff that I couldn't pick off my grandmother who's been dead for 30 years. Okay? We are selling our delivery to the plate, you know, our good inside move, touch, and then feet underneath, throw. Okay? And then we do our spin moves. Legs and wet feet, replace the feet, throw. Okay? Because we can't work on our pickoffs every day. We do that a couple times a week, but now we're working on it every day. I added that this year. Go ahead and hit the slide. I think we're pretty much done. This is distance. Me and Tim are going long for like 3 throws. Okay? We're at 180. I'm going to drive through using my legs. Good extension. Allow my momentum to carry through. Okay? Do them a long hop. Next. Quick feet, quick release. We just talked about it. Here it is. Okay? It's me and Tim executing quick feet, quick release. You'll see I'm deflecting into a throw. Next. All right. Here's what I'd like to finish up on. Nothing that I said is earth-shattering tonight. Nothing. It's not magical. Okay? It's just attention to detail. I would venture that there's numerous guys in this room that are doing something similar to this. If you're not, I would ask why. Why not? If you're sitting in the dugout, when your guys are throwing, you're doing them a disservice. They're not going to get better. They might be halfway loose, ready to go practice, but why not practice when you're getting loose? Right? Why not practice when you're getting loose? Why do we just say, go get loose so that you can practice? That's a wasted 20 minutes every day. Wasted. Down the tubes. You get your young guys doing something similar to this every day where someone's paying attention to what they're doing, I'm telling you, it makes a difference. I had a coach come to me right before this presentation and said he implemented it with his team and it made a difference. Okay? It made a difference. With youth teams, I travel the country doing clinics. Not a big deal. This is something that I've been blessed to be able to do. I've trained numerous teams in this area, okay, in the Columbia area. Youth travel teams. They implement the throwing program. The coaches just say it's amazing what a difference it makes over the course of a few weeks. So hopefully there was something here that you can use, okay? Because I'm going to be sitting right there like I was for his talk and the other talks today, hoping that I can pick up something that I can take back to Georgia and hopefully make my boys better. I am really impressed with the attendance on a Friday night. I spoke at Alabama's clinic 2 years ago on a Friday night and it was half as many. Saturday morning was big. There was a ton of people. Yeah, you guys are here getting better and I think that's awesome. Good luck to all you guys.